Yeah, hey guys. Just do a quick video here. It's kind of a lot to get through. Um, Aussie and New Zealand are both today the strongest. Everything else is weak, Euro being the weakest, and pound follows it. Um, Relative to yesterday, pound is not as weak as yesterday, meaning that yesterday's pound strength is still intact, and Aussie's recent weakness and New Zealand is still intact. This may be a pullback within the turn. So what we had last night was an obvious clue to get out. Firstly, we knew the euro numbers were still red, but what really was the clue was if we look above the open on everything, knowing that we've already done this move down, we had price was above the open, price was above the open, price was above the open, price was above the open. Price was above the open. Price was above the open. Price was below the open. Pound, Aussie, and Euro Aussie below the open. So not just the fact that it's Aussie only, we need to see New Zealand also at doing this. We'll then want to check that New Zealand is in fact the second strongest above everything else. Um, so let's pull this over here. It's New Zealand here. The index is over here. We'll just bring that over. Where has it gone? Here it is. Price was above the open. Okay. New Zealand. Price was above the open. So it's broken above it in everything, by the looks of it. CAD was already going. I noticed that false move, CAD never paid. New Zealand CAD never paid. Everything else paid, but New Zealand CAD didn't pay. So I was thinking, okay, we're probably going to have a pullback here. And then I saw this and aborted from everything. Um, Unfortunately, I still had a few left, but that's all right. Sometimes you get married to these one-sided ideas, but you got to be flexible and remember that there's going to be a pullback within a trend, within an existing downtrend, and it's basically like, okay, this thing's going to stop here, and this is telling us that. What else are we going to look at here? We're going to look at the yen because it's showing us some good stuff. And we're going to look at crypto because there's also some interesting things happening there. Let's just go to all indexed first. We have to look at that first. And hopefully we'll find some decent trades this week. Oh yeah, while I'm doing that, this is quite funny. This was found this in the newspaper this morning. They're doing RFID chips for kids, pushing that now in in Florida. Uh, this will be when people completely give up their sovereignty to the governments, and they will willingly allow their children to be marked with the dot tattoo or RFID chip. However, this is going to go down. I believe it will be the quantum dot tattoo with 56 miniature um, injections in it, uh, as a new modern version of the V word, so it can fit in with the new world. The old V word is old technology, so they're going to want to replace that too with new technology, and this is, I believe, what they're going to do. This will be the thing to get people used to the normalized with a chip, and then there'll be the dot tattoo, I believe. This is all on schedule. We discussed this 9 months ago that in April they're going to start pushing this. The rigged re-election of Trump, he will probably most likely finish it, finish this off and push everyone into this digital age. At that point, there'll be a split in society, an actual noticeable one, where people become nomadic again. As that will really be the only way out of this, unless people stay in the cities and trade locally with one another, their services, exchange their services via some black market app uh, that will be owned and operated by them anyway. But they'll pose as it being private, but it's not. Just like the crypto, right? We've already established it's not. It's not private at all. None of it's private. They tell us it's private, but it's not private. It's all bullshit. So this is what's going to happen, and they'll sell it to people as for the health, and they'll all believe it. So where are we here? Um, yeah, this is looking really cool, actually. I want to show you this while we're here. This was that euro dollar move on Friday, the day trade, counter trend day trade. And we got that move, obviously. We woke up on Sunday, it gapped up. I took my profit, and that's it. There was nothing to really do a video about. However, even we've got red numbers here and green numbers here, so we got to keep this in mind. But what I saw here, and this is usually a sign that you'll get at least a move. You might not necessarily get a euro index as a whole move, but you'll be on the right side of euro dollar if you see something like this. I'll just bring euro dollar over and show you what I mean. So CAD is at the euro is at the top and dollar is at the bottom. Um, as you can see, actually, should we switch this around? And let's switch this around. It'll be easier. You can see it better this way. Okay. The lines are marked with the time slots. Euro USD was coming down, at this time, dollar was going up, euro was going sideways. Okay. Here, euro dollar was coming down. If you were a buyer of euro dollar over here, you were in problems. Oops. If you were all of a sudden a buyer at euro dollar here, you would have been okay though. Look. So here, this day, you had problems. You don't want to be a buyer here, but you never would have bought that on that day, knowing that euro was a sell the whole time, and dollar was in an underlying buy. So that's why we were not buying euro dollar on this day. But what we can see here is as euro goes up, dollar also goes up this day, and euro USD closes a little lower. So even though euro looked like it's moved up more than dollar, relative overall to the entire perspective, it's not moved up as much, which is why euro USD closed lower. And again, the same thing here. It closed lower. What's that on? A sideways euro day and an up dollar day. So you'd expect euro to close lower. Euro closed sideways here while dollar went up and euro went up. So, okay, they both went up. We'd expect them to close sideways. Now, euro has showed a higher move up, a noticeable higher move up, and you've still got this. So this is suggesting a higher range relative to dollar. We've closed lower, just, and that's on euro closing higher and dollar closing higher. Now we've got a euro down move, a dollar down move from here, this line, and a euro sideways move. So we know that dollar is low here, euro is low here, but euro USD is not low here. And when with this and this, and then if we can pull CAD into it to see if we've got a place to go for CAD and pound, we should have a trade in euro dollar. Let's also just check here where we're at. Dollar was high and printing higher. It came low, wasn't able to go low, went high, 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 low, and now this low has actually come below here. So if we looked at the dollar index, we may see that the dollar index has broken everything locally. So we'll take a look at that too, but I might not do that in this video. Now euro seems to be, it made this low, it made this low, it's dropped, so has USD. However, USD, euro dollar has not dropped, and pound dollar has not dropped. So it's kind of suggesting that it's a USD pullback, which will give strength to euro. It's kind of what I'm seeing here. Let's go over to the yens. Oh yeah, let's before we do that, yeah. I've taken a time slot from back here. We know that LFX is still buying. It's gone up 9,000 points. Swiss has gone up 1,100 points. This is suggesting more Swiss strength to catch LFX. So overall, I think to be a long-term buyer on Swiss is a good idea, but not here, obviously, somewhere here. That same time, New Zealand was up 1,100 points. And Aussie was up 1,400 points. So I would imagine a stronger New Zealand soon to catch up with these numbers. Because this is all this is. All what we're doing here is we're just gathering this information here, which is this information and this information. It's all the same thing. Okay, quickly let's go to yen. And then we're going to do the crypto after. Oh, shit. I hope I didn't press the wrong profile. Oh, no. Pressed the wrong profile. Sorry about that. All right. So let's get an overall perspective of this quickly. Dollar, Swiss is stronger than dollar. Pound is stronger than euro. Euro's finally green. CAD is green, not as strong as dollar, not as strong as pound. Um, and LFX is 77. Aussie is still weak, and New Zealand is still fairly weak. Um, However, Euro is obviously weaker. CAD is obviously weaker. What I'm thinking is we're doing here is CAD up to catch up dollar, Swiss up to catch up LFX, and Aussie and yen, New Zealand to slow down and go down, but not against the yen. Like maybe against the yen. If the yen carries on, then these will carry on. If the LFX carries on, then these will carry on. So we need a sideways move in LFX to finally allow Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie and New Zealand to get their moves up. Until then, there won't be a proper time slot allocated for them. They'll just drop and then go up and drop and go up and drop like that. And make lower lows if this LFX carries on higher, continues higher for too much longer. We need to see some sort of range forming in LFX. and evidence of that until we fully get committed in this pound Aussie, euro Aussie stuff. Um, Same thing here. Pound is green. Swiss is greener. USD is green. Euro is the weakest one. LFX still higher. Aussie is weak, and New Zealand is weak. So still the weakest currencies are Aussie and New Zealand, even with this move today. So how do we get back into the sells on those? Well, we'll just wait for the same setup again. If we see a break of the open in all of them, break, or like a false hope move collapse on all of them, something like that, then we'll start looking to get back in. Until then, we're not going to do anything. Next, but we'll just work on this euro dollar for a little bit carefully, knowing that dollar's in an uptrend and euro's in a downtrend, so we have to be mindful of all of that. We're just trying to get a move for a couple of days. Okay, the crypto index is coming. So I thought of an idea to do a hedge and against the ongoing down move, and that is XMR USD. The theory of that is, for example, when I showed you the LFX move earlier was 9,000 points relative to 1,100 points. We know that the big move is 9,000 points. So we got 9,000 points to play with. In the crypto world, BTC is the big move. So XMR is only at $200 or $240. So it's got a long way to go, because we understand that all these currencies have to work in balance with one another and rebalance at some point. So economic or fundamental, no, how do we word this? Fake reality wise, what should happen is, as people wake up to, or in their eyes wake up to what's going on to them, they are going to get more involved in buying crypto, but they will be buying mainstream crypto, so BTC. When they pull off, if they do pull off the dot tattoo situation, they're going to have a 10-day bridge period, like I told you guys. 10 days to 4 months. I don't think they'll do 4 months, but some people have ideas on that. They will have to get crypto to make purchases. They will all flock to doing that. Then the governments will say, sorry, you guys can't get your money back unless you take the dot tattoo. So all of a sudden their private Bitcoin became government coin in one shot. So if that happens in one shot, the value of Bitcoin will slowly slow down relative to XMR, which is a private coin, because the private coin will end up needing to catch up with Bitcoin at that point, because people will realize they've been played and want to run to a private coin, or a certain group of the population will do that. So that will naturally increase the value of XMR. That's my theory anyway. So I took a trade based on this theory on Sunday, and we've got this buy XMR here, and I just randomly took a buy. I didn't look into anything else. I just bought it randomly at the worst possible place to tell me if I'm correct or not. And that's what we have. I'm happy to hold this for years, so I'm not really too bothered about it because I'm going to look at it as a hedge. Plus what I just described to you, my belief is that's what's going to happen into the system. So either way, even if this my theory doesn't happen, XMR will still have to rise relative to BTC. Just as the CAD has to rise relative to the USD, and then it changes to the blah blah Aussie, and then it changes to the yen, and then this one has a turn, and it's just like a bunch of snakes moving around, and each one has a turn, and then they just give the other one a turn. And we don't need to really know anything apart from reading these numbers. However, if we do have some fundamental perspective like that, it's going to help us. We also know that the private coins are going to rise in the astrology too. So we have another perspective. Plus, we already know that the numerology says they're going to rise too. So we've got three perspectives and ongoing predictive programming on central bank digital currencies. Plus, they've put this whole game on here. All right, so that's the trade. We're buying XMR BTC as a hedge. We may go to 18,000 and then up to 100,000. Who knows? At this point, we're really waiting for May or 20th of April to May the 16th to get going, to start seeing this thing go, or get to the right date timeline rather. Is what we're waiting for. So April 20th/22nd up to May 16th, and this is when all the eclipses are going to happen and other things. So should be beginning to push us into a new paradigm. Dollar was weak, strong. Everything else is red. XMR is green. Everything else is red. Everything else is red. We shouldn't be buying any of this yet. We still also have a green dollar. Yeah, I mean that's it. So I wouldn't be buying this yet. We want to see these numbers change. That's it. That's it, really. We look at this. What we got? Above, 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 above. Above, above, above. It went above. And it went above. So now we know we've got a massive sell model formed here within a massive buy model. The question is, will this be enough to give us a pullback up to here, then down one more time, then up? I don't know. But something like that I'm looking at. Duh, duh, duh. And then at that time, we don't even care about XMR. We can just leave XMR. We're not going to get married to it. We're just going to look at it on an actual long-term investment that we don't care about. That's what we're going to do for XMR. We don't even care about it. If we're wrong, we're wrong. It doesn't even matter. But the fact is, we're not going to be wrong. That's what's going to happen. It's extremely cheap here. It's a joke. Okay, so, and we can go all the way up to here at least. And if it got to 1, that would be the equivalent of like, let's say, well, 40,000 XMR and 40,000 BTC. That would be even numbers, right? So it's kind of cool. Like, it's right at the beginning of when this thing's being created. So if we can get this thing here and hold it for 10 years and get out here, then we'll be laughing. And we'll be able to get out of XMR because it's a so-called private coin. But BTC we won't be able to get out of. So yeah, that's my video. Here's some numbers here if you want to have a quick look here. I think there's a bit of a mixed bag. It's not really giving me any clues here. But we have, relative to the date, we're only the 12th. So these monthly numbers haven't printed yet. I didn't take a screenshot of last month's close, unfortunately. So that's why I'm not really doing much on this. But if anyone has the numbers, then plan accordingly. Something's going on here. Obviously, there's a problem here, but we have to wait for this end of the month to see if this finishes up like that. Till then, there's not really anything for us to talk about on that because I don't have last month's, like I just said. But yeah, that's the video. I hope that helped. Thank you, guys and girls. Talk to you soon.